You finish a meal, and within minutes, something shifts. Your stomach starts to expand, tighten, and push against your waistband like it has its own agenda. You feel heavy, uncomfortable, maybe even a little embarrassed if you're around other people. You unbutton the top of your pants and hope nobody notices. You try to breathe through it. You tell yourself this is just how your body works. But deep down, you know something is off, and you have been feeling this way for way too long. Here is the truth that most people never get told. Bloating is not random. It is not a mystery. It is your body sending you a very clear signal. And once you understand what that signal actually means, everything changes. Not in a vague, wishy-washy way. In a real, physical, daily life kind of way where you wake up feeling lighter. Where you finish meals and feel good instead of miserable. Where your clothes fit the way they are supposed to fit. We are going to break down the most common foods that are silently destroying your digestive comfort every single day. And we are going to go deep. Not surface level, deep. Because you deserve to actually understand what is happening inside your body. Not just get a list and a wave goodbye. But first, because I know some of you are serious about fixing this fast, there is a program linked in the video description below. Most people scroll past things like this, and honestly, if you are not ready to change how you feel, you should skip it. But if you are tired of suffering through this every single day, that link is worth looking at before it is gone. Now let us get into it. Let us talk about beans and lentils first, because this one catches almost everyone off guard. You eat them because they are healthy. You have been told your whole life they are good for you. And they are. But here is what nobody explains. Inside beans and lentils there are these complex sugar molecules called oligosaccharides. Your body does not have the right enzyme to break them down in your small intestine, so they travel all the way down to your large intestine, where bacteria go absolutely wild on them. And the byproduct of that bacterial party is gas. Lots of it. The tightness, the rumbling, the uncomfortable pressure that builds for hours after eating, that is what is happening. The fix is not to stop eating them. The fix is to soak dried beans overnight and throw out the soaking water before cooking. That step alone removes a significant portion of those gas-causing compounds. Rinsing canned beans thoroughly does a similar thing. Small shift, massive difference in how you feel. Now here comes the one that blindsides people the most. Cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. These are on every health list ever written. And your body may be struggling with every single one of them. These vegetables contain a compound called raffinose, another one of those complex sugars that your digestive system cannot fully process in the upper digestive tract. When it reaches your colon, the fermentation begins, and the bloating that follows can last for hours. Here is the psychology behind why this is so frustrating. You are doing everything right. You are eating your vegetables. You are trying to be healthy. And your reward is a stomach that feels like a balloon by dinner time. That is not just physically uncomfortable, it is mentally exhausting. It makes you not want to try anymore. And that is the real cost of not understanding your body. Cooking those vegetables changes everything. Heat breaks down raffinose significantly. Steamed broccoli is far gentler on your system than raw broccoli. Roasted cauliflower causes a fraction of the bloating compared to eating it raw in a salad. This is not about avoiding healthy food. It is about working with your biology instead of against it. Dairy is next, and this conversation needs to happen because so many people are walking around with an unrecognized issue and blaming themselves for feeling terrible. Lactose is the natural sugar found in milk, yogurt, cheese, ice cream, cream, and your coffee. To digest it, your body needs an enzyme called lactase. A massive percentage of adults globally produce very little lactase after childhood. When lactose is not properly broken down, it sits in the gut, ferments, and creates bloating, cramping, and that urgent, uncomfortable feeling that follows you through your whole afternoon. You might not even realize dairy is the culprit because the reaction does not always happen immediately. It can creep in 1 to 2 hours after eating. So you finish your lunch, you feel fine, and then an hour later you are loosening your belt and wondering what happened. This delay is exactly why so many people never connect the dots. Hard-aged cheeses like Parmesan and cheddar have very low lactose content and may be tolerable. Fermented options like certain yogurts with live cultures can actually support digestion rather than sabotage it. Knowing this lets you enjoy food instead of fearing it. Now let us talk about something hiding in almost every packaged food on the market. Artificial sweeteners, sorbitol, mannitol, xylitol. You find them in sugar-free gum, diet sodas, protein bars, low-calorie snacks, even some medications. These are what scientists call sugar alcohols, and your gut cannot absorb them properly. They pull water into the large intestine, they ferment rapidly, and they create bloating that feels completely disproportionate to how little you actually ate. You have a couple pieces of sugar-free gum, and 2 hours later you feel like you swallowed a basketball. That is not in your head. That is chemistry. Checking ingredient labels for anything ending in OL is a simple habit that can immediately reduce the frequency and severity of your bloating episodes. Carbonated drinks deserve their own moment here because the connection seems so obvious, and yet most people do not make it. Every time you drink a fizzy drink, you are swallowing gas. That gas has to go somewhere. It expands in your digestive tract. Your stomach distends. You feel pressure and tightness. And when you drink carbonated beverages with meals, you are essentially trapping air alongside your food, which slows digestion and multiplies the discomfort. Switching to still water during meals is one of the simplest, cheapest, most immediately effective things you can do for your digestive health. Wheat and gluten-containing foods are another major piece of this puzzle. And before you tune out thinking this does not apply to you, hear this. You do not need a celiac diagnosis or a formal gluten sensitivity to experience gut discomfort from wheat. Many people have what researchers describe as non-celiac gluten sensitivity, where wheat triggers bloating, brain fog, fatigue, and digestive distress without showing up on any standard test. The fructans in wheat are also fermentable carbohydrates that cause gas and bloating in a significant portion of the population. If you notice that bread, pasta, or wheat-based cereals consistently make you feel sluggish and bloated, that pattern is data. Your body is communicating something important. Onions and garlic are two of the most powerful flavoring ingredients in cooking worldwide, and also two of the most underestimated causes of bloating. They are extremely high in fructose and fructans, which are fermented rapidly in the gut. Even small amounts can trigger significant bloating in sensitive individuals. The cruel irony is that onions and garlic are also incredibly good for your gut microbiome in other ways, which makes the relationship complicated. Cooking them reduces the impact significantly compared to eating them raw, and using just the infused oil from garlic rather than the garlic itself delivers much of the flavor with far less digestive disruption. Here is something most people never consider. Eating speed. The pace at which you consume your food has a direct and measurable impact on how bloated you feel afterward. When you eat fast, you swallow air with every rushed bite. You do not chew thoroughly enough, which means larger food particles reach your stomach and intestines, where they take longer to break down and create more fermentation. You also override your satiety signals and tend to overeat without realizing it, which adds physical volume pressure to your already struggling digestive system. Slowing down sounds too simple to matter. It is not. Chewing each bite more thoroughly, putting your fork down between bites, not eating while distracted. These are not Instagram wellness cliches. They are evidence-based strategies that measurably reduce bloating and improve digestive efficiency. Let us get into something that takes all of this further. Stress. When you are under chronic stress, your body redirects blood flow away from your digestive organs. Your gut literally slows down. Food sits in your digestive tract for longer. Bacteria have more time to ferment it. Gas builds up faster and moves more slowly. This is why you might eat the exact same meal one day and feel fine, and eat it another day when you are overwhelmed at work and feel completely wrecked afterward. The food did not change. Your nervous system did. Your gut has its own nervous system, sometimes called the second brain, and it responds to your emotional state in real time. Managing your stress response is not separate from managing your digestion. They are the same system. The cumulative cost of daily bloating is something most people have never actually calculated. Think about how many hours per week you feel uncomfortable after eating. Think about the meals you have skipped, or the social events you have dreaded because you were afraid of how you would feel. Think about the energy lost, the confidence hit, the mental space consumed by physical discomfort that you were taught to just accept. That is not living, that is surviving. And you have been surviving it unnecessarily. When you apply even a few of these changes consistently, the shift is not subtle. People report feeling physically lighter within days. Meals become something to look forward to instead of something to brace for. The tightness that used to follow you around for hours starts to disappear. Clothes feel more comfortable. Energy levels stabilize because your body is not constantly fighting to process food it cannot handle. Focus sharpens because your gut and your brain are finally working together instead of against each other. That is not an exaggeration. That is physiology. If you are ready to go beyond these individual strategies and actually build a complete system for your digestive health, the program linked in the description below is where that transformation happens. This is not for everyone. If you are comfortable with where you are, that link is not for you. But if you have been struggling with this long enough and you are genuinely ready to feel different, do not let another week pass doing what has not been working. That link is in the description. The people who act on it today are the ones who will look back in 30 days completely changed. The ones who scroll past it will still be unbuttoning their pants after dinner.